This just in, an insane finish in this Bears-Lions game. Caleb Williams throws an incomplete pass with triple zeros on the clock. That never should have happened. The Bears had a timeout left. Williams was sacked with 35 seconds left. Matt Eberflus did not call a timeout. So the clock kept ticking and ticking and ticking. Finally, they snapped it with 6 seconds left. Even if that thing is caught, if it's not a touchdown, the game is over, and the Lions are able to survive what was almost an epic fourth quarter collapse. Not sure if the Bears had any idea where the clock was at this point, but bottom line is the Lions survive. They win it 23-20. The Bears had it all the way down inside the 25-yard line with over 30 seconds left and timeouts and all that, in field goal range to try to tie this game, but they had a holding penalty and then that sack and then just a complete mismanagement disaster at the end of that game. I'm not sure that Matt Eberflus was going to survive this season to begin with, but after this, wow. Detroit gets to 11-1. Bears fall to 4-8, 6 consecutive loss for Chicago. We're reacting to this with a couple of Mikes, Mike Renner and Mike McClure. Mike Renner, I want to start with you. I mean, is that going to be the lasting impression of the Eberflus era in Chicago?
Oh, it has to be. I mean, holding on to one timeout at the end of that game, clock's hitting 0, and him on the sideline looking as confused as he was, like he didn't know what was going on. That's malpractice as a head coach. You have a young rookie quarterback. You have to protect him in those situations. You have to be the guiding voice. He can be, you know, a rookie. He can make rookie mistakes, like let the clock go down, have guys, you know, you saw them struggling to get lined up there on the left side. That's going to happen, but you have to protect him and say, we're going to take the timeout, make sure we have enough time to run a play, and if it's fourth down, get into field goal range. If you get into field goal range, you run that field goal team on. So, man, I can't believe that just happened. It's the second time that they botched an end-of-game scenario. And maybe the last time for the Matt Eberflus era there in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be, right? We haven't even talked about the challenge initially in the first quarter as well. There's just so many decisions. It's just unbelievable that they would get sacked with 36 seconds and not immediately burn that timeout. You at that point, you should have 36 seconds on the clock, no timeout, more than enough time to complete a 6-7 yard pass to get into field goal range, get up, spike the football. Just a situation that has to be avoided. You know, you'd like to, honestly, you can't fault Caleb Williams too much here. I would like to see, you know, a quarterback with the presence to potentially call the timeout on his own there in that particular situation. Just a lot of miscues there, but not surprising. Should definitely be the end of the Eberflus era.
Yeah, it's just it's so hard to wrap your mind around, and the Bears wasted a couple of timeouts there as well. But inside the 25-yard line, you're in field goal range. You're thinking at the very least in your back pocket, you have a field goal to go to overtime, and they end up getting sacked and not calling that timeout. We're going to be talking about that. I think that's going to be the lasting impression of the Eberflus era and this game and all that. But I want to hit it from a Lions perspective, because they were running away with this game, Renner, in the first half. It was 16-0. And even after kind of a so-so third quarter, they are still up by 16 points entering the fourth quarter. Are there concerns for how the Lions finish this game?
Not really. I mean, they've blown so many teams out this year that we can give them a little grace for a little one-score game here that came down to the wire, especially, again, with Leger was hammering their woes on Thanksgiving. It's been real over the course of the Lions franchise. But I do think the worry, if you're looking at this Lions team, is that they win so much with scheme and with that running game. And when you can take away that running game and kind of match scheme, it's like, can Jared Goff beat you with just his arm? And I think in this one down the stretch in that second half, he didn't, and obviously they pulled it out because this is a darn good football team still. But that's the one thing that you could point to, that if someone really can make them left-handed, make Jared Goff have to be a drop-back passer, what's that going to look like? No one's been able to much this year, but the Bears did so in the second half.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a big concern. It's very fortunate that they got the win still, for sure, just because of that #1 seed in the NFC and that race with the Philadelphia Eagles. Looking ahead, they've still got 4 division games, and the 2 non-division games are going to be San Francisco and Buffalo. So not the easiest schedule the rest of the way, but really this game came down to the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble. They were essentially on the way marching in for another touchdown, and just a play that you get hit hard in that scenario, not something that is really something that's going to continue to happen to them going forward. So I personally have no concerns. As far as the opponent here, I know the Bears don't have the best record. The Bears are a lot closer right now at their current level to a playoff team in the NFC. In my opinion, they play like a fringe playoff wild card kind of team. So this was not some scenario where they needed to come in and necessarily win this by 20-plus points.
All right, McClure and Mike Renner, thank you so much as we react to a heart-stopping Lions 23-20 victory over the Bears, and that's 10 straight wins. It matches the longest streak in franchise history, going back to 1934. That was also the year, the last time they had a record that was this good going into their Thanksgiving game, and also their first season in the city of Detroit. The Lions get to 11-1 by surviving a last-second attack by the Bears. Lions beat the Bears 23-20 to extend their winning streak to 10. But as Tony Romo joins us after that call, all the talk's going to be about that end-of-game sequence after this. Caleb Williams sacked with 36 seconds to go. Bears had a timeout, and all they get is one more play, and the clock runs out on them. What did you see, and what should the Bears have done, Tony?
Well, you have 2 options there. Number one, there's like a time limit. I call it's about 30 seconds. When you have one timeout, you're in field goal range technically. So you're fine. You just can't have what happened. Number one, did everyone run a go route trying to get a deep down the field? No, it's actually supposed to be a quarterback draw. So at this point, you're like, we can get back up. It's 29 seconds. All of a sudden, it's, hey, everyone, get on the ball. You should be able to snap that by 16. You call a quick slant flat. Hey, slant flat. And then all of a sudden, you just throw a quick 5-yard ball, 8-yard ball, and you call slant, down, wide 80, set hut, boom. Ball comes out, catch it. Down means you get on the ground right when you catch it, and then you take a timeout. You'll have 8 seconds, 10 seconds if you did it correctly, and you could just take it down to 4, then kick the field goal. The second option is the head coach calls timeout right away because the quarterback got sacked. And usually when he gets sacked, you want to take a timeout. But because it wasn't down the field, it's a gray area, so it's a little difficult. But the quarterback should have hurried up a little bit more. Caleb should have. And then on top of it, as a head coach, I'm watching this, and I'm seeing quarterback doesn't have that sense of urgency yet. At 15, I'm like, timeout. That was not going to go well. You get up there, you call a quick out route. He's covered. You throw it over his head. You kick the field goal. If not, you throw it, connects, he runs out of bounds, kick the field goal. Any of those options are possible, but only those 2. What they did, just inexcusable. And
certainly going to be a topic in Chicago for quite some time. But on the Detroit side of things, I mean, this was shaping up, and we had people in the studio saying, oh, this is so Lions. This is so Detroit. You're having this great season. You're going to blow it here on Thanksgiving again. But the way things went the other way, is this another sign that the worm has turned and this is a new Lions team?
I think so, because they had so many injuries. I mean, they've already been decimated early in the year, and so you have guys out for the season. Your top edge rusher may come back, but most likely not, is another one. And then Anzalone's out, so you already have like 4 of their best players on defense out. And then today they had 4 or 5, up to 6 and 7 at one point. But they had those guys out, and you still stuck with your guns. And I think there's a belief, you know, that championship DNA we talk about, but it starts with the belief that we're going to get it done no matter what, next man up. And, you know, it does show you, though, any given day, team can beat another one, even though it's so one-sided in that first half.
Yeah, a lot of people thinking that Lions minus 10.5 was a lock. It was not. The Bears cover, but the Lions get the unbelievable victory at the end of this one. Tony Romo, thank you so much. Looking forward to your call again on Sunday on CBS. A 2-fer this week. Happy Thanksgiving.
We're pumped. Yeah.
And NFL Today will get you going on Sunday at noon Eastern time. Of course, Katie Mox sitting to my left will be on, well, that other show over on CBS Sports Network that'll take you up to the NFL Today. It's Tony Romo and crew on the call for Eagles-Ravens at 4:25 Eastern.